Okay, we're live again. Welcome everyone to the Azure and AI Show. And with us this evening there, we've got Joseph, MVP, new MVP there recently from Lagos in Nigeria. And we have another MVP with us there, Dan Ray in Chicago. And myself, Frank Falvey from Cork in Ireland. And Stephen, welcome. Stephen is in the UK. Stephen's going to do talk for us today. So we leave Joseph start first, so will we? And Stephen, how long will your talk be?
Yeah, I'll go after Joseph. That's fine.
You'll go after, we'll say, Dan, do
Yeah.
you want to take the last one?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we'll go in that order. So, Joseph, can you share your screen with us?
Okay.
And at the moment, we're
Just
streaming out to two LinkedIn live sessions and two YouTube live sessions.
okay. So my screen is
Yeah,
shared now.
there we go. We can see your screen.
Okay, cool. So I good evening from here to everyone listening. I'm sure we have people joining from different time zones, and I am happy that we are here together today to look at what we have been looking at, a topic on eliminating bad passwords. So passwords that we have in our environment needs to be protected, right? And that's very important that we look into it. Um, Last week I tried to show how we could
Can you share your screen again
fix.
with us, Joseph? Yeah, you clicked
Okay,
your
so
stop sharing. That's
I
it.
lost
Yeah,
my screen share. I'm just going to
yeah.
share that again. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. So just hold on a bit. Let me.
Okay.
Okay, once again, I'm going to share this screen here. Present your screen, share screen, share, and then entire screen. This and then share. Oh, cool. Now,
Okay, we got you back
so I
again
guess
now.
it's now visible. Okay, so let's now come to my tenant. Yes. So I was speaking about how to eliminate bad passwords last week, and doing so, we're able to go into ban passwords, and I explained that we have two categories of ban password. We have the global list, the global ban password list, which everyone who uses the Entra Admin Center or who uses the Entra identity would have option to enjoy. However, there are options where you would want to include some words that you wouldn't want your users to make use of in their password. And for you to do that, you need to have some required licenses. And we mentioned, try to look at this document and say the licensing requirements that for users who are cloud only users, if you have the Entra free, then you are going to enjoy the global ban password list protection. So this is constantly being updated by Microsoft protection engineers who are into cybersecurity, checking out compromised passwords and then trying to update this list. So everyone using Microsoft Entra, even if it is free, you have access or you enjoy the privilege of global ban password list. And I mentioned during that call that you may want to see the global ban password list, but because of security reasons, Microsoft does not publish that in her documents. However, if you want to extend the protection of your users, say, for example, you have users in Nigeria and your office is in Lagos, and you don't want people to use Nigeria, you don't want them to use Lagos, you don't want them to use some specific terms internally used. Let's say, for example, organization that produces a certain product who wouldn't want their users to make use of such words as being part of their passwords, or even using the like generic words that are commonly available even outside there. You could include all these words into your custom banned password list to further strengthen your own users. Now, while doing that, you should be aware that you will need the premium license of Entra, which is the plan 1 or the plan 2 license, in order to be able to customize your global ban password list. So looking at that, you would I would just quickly again take us to the admin center, and then we can look at something around normalization and the calculations that are involved. And yeah, coming to this place. So if I come to the Entra admin center by coming to cmd.ms, then selecting this as Entra being the first option that shows up here, it's going to take me to this Entra admin center. And if I am here at Entra and I come down to protection, under protection, I'm going to see authentication methods. So right inside here, you have password protection. And then from password protection, you have option to toggle this. This is going to be no in the first place, but it's going to, you can turn it on, and you can add up to 1,000 words that you wouldn't want your users to make use of. So last week we were able to demonstrate the words that users would, the error messages that the users are going to have when they are making use of these words as part of their passwords, right? And we looked at those messages, and let us just again, as a matter of refreshers, look at what those messages are going to look like. Let me scroll down. What do users see? So one of the errors that we saw in one of our demos was a user trying to use those words and is saying, unfortunately, your password contains a word, a phrase, or a pattern that makes your password easily guessable. Please try again with a different password. And then we'll have another error that can be, we've seen that password too many times before. Choose something harder to guess. And then you can also have the error that says choose a password that is harder for people to guess, simple and straight. So these are errors that you can get. Now, while looking at how many words can you add to banned password list, of course, you can add as much as 1,000. However, there are things that we need to evaluate today, and that's the essence of this second phase of this conversation. Let's consider a customer whose name is Contoso. And then this company is based in London, location, name of company here. And then that makes a product called widgets. And then for this example customer, it would be wasteful and less secure to try to block the specific variation of words, like putting Contoso as after adding Contoso here, then adding Contoso 1 or Contoso hyphen, exclamation 1 as a ban password, and then coming to say Contoso at London, Contoso widgets, and then apostrophe, what's this, exclamation Contoso, and then London headquarter, headquarter HQ. This is a waste, and it is less secure to block. So while adding those to your list, there is no need coming down here and then putting London, and then you put exclamation. Maybe you come here, you put exclamation, you put London, and then you say at Lagos. All these are waste and they are not secure. So why are they not secure? Instead, it's much more efficient and secure to block only the key based terms such as Contoso. That will be able to take care of anything that has Contoso, exclamation 1, then London is enough to take care of this, and then this is also able to stand on its own to cover. So when we come to normalization, you would see why it was wasteful for this admin to be thinking this way. Now, the password validation algorithm then automatically block weak variants. So any password that looks like this is going to be blocked. So let's just quickly jump on to how passwords are evaluated. Now, when a user changes or resets their password, the new password are checked for strength and complexity by validating it against the combined list of the term from the global banned password list and the custom, that is if you set up your custom. Even if a user's password contains, listen to this, a banned password, the password may be accepted if the overall password is otherwise strong enough. I'm sure that listening, you will feel this is conflicting already, but as time progresses, we will try to see why this is true, that you could combine words from the banned password list and yet it will be considered strong enough to allow you sign in. A newly configured password goes through the following step, assesses it over all the strengths and determine if it should be accepted or rejected. Now that takes us to normalization. A new password first goes through the normalization process. This technique allows for a small set of banned password to be mapped to a much larger set of potential weak passwords. Now what happens? Normalization, all uppercases are changed to lowercase. When you set your password, what happens background is all uppercases now turn to lowercase. Therefore, it becomes counterproductive to come with words like you are banning Contoso, and then you're also coming to say you are also banning Contoso, mixing that, or you can even put this as capital letter S and this 0, okay, and then coming to say that you are banning the word Contoso, um, and then all the zeros, I mean all the O's, you are making them 0. All these are still going to resolve to become the same thing. So we'll try to look at that. So now what happens during normalization is that all capital letters or all uppercases are converted to smaller letters, or the what's it called, the lowercase. Then common characters substitutions are performed, such as the following. Now, when your password is being normalized, 0 becomes small letter O, and then your 1 becomes your small letter L, then your dollar sign is normalized to become small letter S, and then your @ sign normalizes to become A, small letter A, while all capital letters are converted to small letters as well. Now, the password blank is banned. For example, as a user tries to change the password, go to use blank, and then what is it changing? It's changing A to become @ it still normalizes to become blank. Even though the blank, the putting @ in place of that isn't banned, the normalization process converts this password to blank. The password will be rejected. Having said that, check for password consideration band. A password is then examined for other matches behavior and scores. So this is where we'll be wrapping up the scores, and this will explain why you could combine words that are in the ban list and you would be able to sign in. I know we did this the previous time with a user that was able to combine some words, and I was saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is from here that we are going to see it. Now look at the Afeso matching behavior. Now, if you look at this, Afeso matching is used on normalized password to identify if it contains a password found on either the global or the custom banned password list. Now, this matching process is based on the edit distance of one comparison. So it will compare this to this. For example, if you had banned A, B, C, D, E, F, if it's banned, and a user comes to put A, B, C, D, E and replaces F with G, the last character has been changed from F to G. Even though G is appended to the end, then this tailing with F will be deleted from the end, okay? And then each of the above password does not specifically match the banned password ABCDF. However, since each example is with an edit distance of 1 of the banned password ABCDEF, they are all considered as matching this password because this is just tailing it. So it's going to be, so if you reshuffle it also by substituting it, replacing these things, they are still going to be banned. So this is also an example of what you can look at under the substring matching. But where I want us to focus on today because of our time is on the score calculation. At this step, we will need to explain something and just quickly jump to this place. What happens is that if a word is found on a word, remember one whole word, is found on the global or the custom banned password list, it is going to be treated as one, a whole word. Maybe we'll go to look at it from here. The next step is to identify all instances of bad password so each banned password that is found in user's password is given 1 point, each word. Then each remaining character that isn't part of the banned password is given 1 point. Each character, each word. Remember, then for a password to pass, must have at least 5 points to be accepted. Now, how this will make sense, if we can come here, for example, in my list we have this. Now let's put our notepad again, and then let's look at the example I have here. We have London, we have Nigeria, and then let's say we have partners. We have partners. So already remember, even if it is small or capital letter, it's going to be addressed as small letter already when normalization occurs. So this is equal to 1, and then the whole of Nigeria in that terms of the password count is going to be equal to 1, and then for partners is going to be equal to 1 as well. Now look at the calculation. So if a user is going to combine this and it will still pass. Now let's say a user comes and say London, that is 1, and then puts at, and then put Nigeria. We're going to look at the calculation Nigeria, and then that user is also coming to say exclamation mark, and puts partners. Now we'll look at this calculation here. This London is going to be counted as 1. The @ symbol is going to be counted as 1. Nigeria is going to be counted as 1. The exclamation is going to be counted as 1, and the partners is going to be counted as 1. This exclamation is not counted as 1 because it's exclamation, because it's a special character, but because it is not in the ban password list. Now let's look at it. If this is London and it is 1, so we're having 1 plus, and then we have the @ sign, which is also 1. So we're going to do +1. And then we have Nigeria again here, which is going to be 1 plus 1. And then we have 2, which is also +1. And then we have partners, which is also +1. So what happens is that you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if a user, even though these are words combination from my banned password list, if a user can meticulously combine these words like this, as long as they are, the user is going to be able to sign in. However, let's say the user comes to put this password and then remove these two from here and then leave it this way. What happens is that you're going to have London as 1 and then plus the @ as 1, then Nigeria as 1, and then partners as 1. And this password is not going to pass because it is a total of 4 and this is a total of 5. But what happens if a user, and if you count this character, it's going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. This is 23 characters, 23 characters, and then we have 5 points. This is 22 characters, 22 characters, but we have equal to 4 points. Now, let's look at something. Let's say a user just come and put, look at it. Let's look at this. What point is this? So if look is not in the global banned password list, then this is supposed to pass. So this will be counted as 1. For L is going to be counted as 1. Then the first O is going to be counted as another 1. Then the next O is going to be counted as another 1. The at is going to be counted as another 1. The I is going to be counted as another 1, and the T also. So what is this giving us? This is giving us a total of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is going to give us a total of 6. And then this will give us 6 characters, 6 characters, and then equal to 6 points. Because at this time, you need to understand that each of these character is representing one point, and but for these banned words that you've actually itemized in your environment, then it's going to be counted as one, a whole word, because it is a banned word. And if you can combine them, but I'm sure that it's not going to be funny if you are going to be having 22 characters before it can pass your password. But if, for example, this look is in the global banned password list, then it's going to be counted as 1, and then the at is going to be counted as 1, making 2, 3, and then 4. So if you do this, then it means that this also will not pass if look is in the global ban password list. So what we are trying to advocate here is, if you have to set up your ban password list, just know that there is what is called normalization. And normalization is bringing words together that are similar and harmonize them to become same, then appending words also by the end. So reshuffling these words to these characters to are still going to be amounting to the same thing. Therefore, try to look into how your users are protected and know that before a password can pass, then it should have at least 5 points to be able to pass and allow the user to sign in. The document is very interesting. In case you want to go through it, I will just quickly drop the link on the chat just so you can also go through this for your own better understanding and consumption. So if you have questions, you may want to ask us as the program continues. So I'm already 4 minutes late from the time allotted to me. So I want to say thank you for your time, and I hope you're able to learn something from me today.
Oh yeah, thank you very much, Joseph. I think that was taking us. You took us back to the mathematics we run away from in secondary school. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah. So today I think I will be talking about something. Let me just present my screen. Share my screen. Um, uh, And okay, so can you see my screen, please?
Yeah, we got you there. You can see it.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I just have a short presentation. So what can you see on the screen, please?
Yeah, implementation of roles groups in
Okay.
Microsoft
Cool.
365.
That's fine. Yeah. Thank you. So today I'll quickly be talking about the implementing of role groups in Microsoft 365, which is also like in line with what Joseph has been talking about, which is all this is into the Microsoft 365. So today I'll be talking about how to implement role groups in Microsoft 365. So if you look at it, said, what is the implementation of role group? It said it is the ability to assign a role to a group. That word, a role to a group, not an individual, not a user. So this role is being assigned to what? To a group. Now, it says whereby the group members automatically inherit the role. So which means that if any user that fall into that particular group, that role is being assigned, we automatically will have what automatically what inherit what that particular role. So if that part if that member if that user leaves that particular role, rather, the person will not have access to that role again. So I say role groups are a convenient and efficient way of managing and delegating the administration of Microsoft 365. To assign a role to a group, you must create a security or Microsoft 365 group. So which means that either you create a security group or you create the Microsoft 365 group. That is role. I mean, that is role assignable. You can see it now. It said that is what role assignable. So which means that there are some groups you create that is just normal group. You understand? It's not role assignable. So this particular group you are creating must be role assignable. For a group to be role assignable, it is assignable to role. So which the property will be set to that. Now, what are the benefits of this role group? One, we have to simplify the role assignment process. So this reduces the complexity and effort of assigning role to users. So it reduced that one. Then two, we have implementing the security and compliance posture, implementing the security and compliance posture, which enhance the security and compliance of Office 365 environment. Then three, we have increasing productivity and collaboration, increasing productivity and what and collaboration. So for the demo, I'm going to be I have three ways you can do it, but because of our time, I'm just going to be doing the second one, which is to create this. You can create your group in Microsoft 365 admin, and then you can also create it in your Microsoft Entra admin, and also you can create it using the Windows PowerShell. So I have a video on it on my YouTube channel. So because of our time, I'm just going to be doing the create role in Microsoft Entra admin environment. So let me just go and then I will move on. Let me open my environment. Okay. So can you see my admin portal, please?
Yeah, can see that there, no problem.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. So now this is the admin portal, which this is a developer tenant I'm actually using. So normally you go to your admin.microsoft.com and it brings you to this environment where you need to sign in with your credentials. So here, like I said, you can create it here in your Microsoft admin center, which normally you come to your active groups and then you come up here, you create your group, or you want to create the security group, anyone. You say I want to create this or this, but like I said, because of our time, I will just be doing the Entra ID. So this one, you scroll down and come up here and click on the identity, which is your Microsoft Entra ID. So you click on that. Now, when you click on that, it brings you to this environment and come up here, you click on your groups. Under groups, click on all groups, and you come up here and you click on new groups. So click on new groups. Now, when you click on your new groups, then you can come up here and now give it a name. Give it a name. Give that group a name. But before that, we have what group type. So under this your group type here, we have the security and the Microsoft 365. So you can see that. So any of the two you want to, you can actually choose. But I will be using the security group. Then group name, I will just type a name. Let me just dash the name. Let's say Teams Senior Engineers. So here I'll click my group description. Now, in naming convention, like I used to mention in most of my videos, it's actually very, very important when you are creating, when you are giving probably maybe resources or anything, items, name in your environment as an admin, because it's because you can't be in that company forever. You're definitely going to leave for another higher role. So when you are creating a group, make that group understandable for whoever is coming after you. And then this group, this description is also what very important too. So either any resources you are creating in your environment, either in your Azure or Microsoft 365 environment, naming convention is very important, which I think most companies take it very serious. So you don't just come and give anything name and then put any description. No, it has to be done, has to be documented properly. So here you give it a group description if you want to. Now you can see here now it said Microsoft Entra role can be assigned to the group. Can you see that now? Can be what? Assigned to a group. Now I'm trying to create a group, then I will not assign the role. But if I come up here and I click on just create, now here is asking me here two questions, yes or no. Microsoft Entra role can be what? Assignable to a group. Now remember that what I'm creating on, I need what? A group assignment. So I have to click on what? Yes. Otherwise, if I click on no, you can see here you only have owners, members, membership type. This is where you can, if you want to create your dynamic and whatever. So you come up here, you do that. But if I click on this yes here, can you see now? You have 1, 2, 3. We have owners, members, and roles. So if what you want to create is a group assignment and you did not enable this, you click on no, that particular group will not be, you'll not be able to assign any role to that particular group. So click on that. And here I'll click on owner. Let me give myself as the owner, the admin. Yes, select that. And here you now click on members. So here I will click on members. So here I have a member here, which is called Bob. So I want to give Bob that particular group. I want to add him to that particular group, and I'll click on select. But before I come up here and click on this role here, I want you to note something. Now, let me go back to my admin environment and go back to my user and then look for that particular user. I'm going to look for Bob. Let me just type it there, Bob. Now, if you look at Bob here, click on it here. And when you now come up under account here, you can see now roles. You can see now no administrator role access. So which means that this Bob has no what role assigned to him. So if I just want to assign role automatically to Bob, I don't want to do it through a group. I can come up here and click on here and then assign the role to that particular user. But I just want to show you that this Bob has no role assigned to him. Okay, so I'll go back again. Now under here, click on these roles. Now remember that the name of this group is what? Is Teams Senior Engineer. So which means that is one of the what? Our Teams administrator what? engineers. You call him a senior engineer because if you are a teams engineer, at times it's not all the engineers they will give the administrator role. Okay, so but he is a senior engineer, so I'm going to give him the teams administrator. So I'll type teams administrator here. Yeah, this is it. Click on it. So as you can see, you have more roles that you can assign to that particular group. Remember that we are assigning a role to the group and not to that user. To the what? To the group. So click on select. Now, this role is now assigned what? To this particular word group called what? Teams engineers. And I have what? One member. I'm still going to add another member there. Just click on create here. So you can actually click on your create and then add the members later if you want to. So once you do that, I'll now come up here and I'll search for my row which I created. Yes, so this is it. Click on that. So here I can come up here where you have members. I have only Bob there. I can add more members to that particular group. If I want to add another person, I can come up here, select the members I want to add. Remember that any member you add to this particular role must be what? The team senior what? Engineers, because a role has been assigned to that particular group. So click on that, select, refresh. Okay, so I have my members there. Now let me go back to my admin environment. So this is my admin environment here. Here I have what? Bob here. Let me just refresh now. So if I refresh on Bob, so you can see that Bob now has what? This team's administrator. And remember that he inherited this particular role from a group he belongs to. If you come up here, these are the groups that Bob belongs to. You can see that team senior what engineer. You can see this is part of this is where he what inherited what that particular role. Do you understand? So this is actually very easy. So you don't have to start, maybe like if you have like maybe teams of the teams engineer, maybe they are like 10 engineers you have. So instead of assigning each role one by one, so you can just put them in a group and assign that role to that group, and automatically every one of them would have access to that particular role. So if I go back here now, so let me try and see if really this Bob has access, if you can actually log in to Teams environment, which is the Microsoft Teams admin environment. So here I'll come up here, I'll click on my incognito mode, and then here let me use the CMDS. Yeah, love to use this. So here I will now come up here and locate my Teams. Where is the Teams? Okay, so this is the Teams. So I'll click on my Teams, admin.teams.microsoft.com. Click on that. So once I do that, I'll now log in with that user, which is Bob. So let me look for his email address. Come up here. I click on next. And then I will now put in the password of that user. Click on that. Next. Now, yeah. So now my environment is loading for me. So can you see that now? So can you say he's able to have access to this Teams environment because he belongs to that group? So here he can do a lot of things. So create maybe like call queue and any other thing that are related to Teams admin environment. So you can come up here and manage our Teams environment because he's a Teams or senior word engineer. But you can see that this person has access to this environment because of what the group here is there. Now let's see what happened if Bob now leaves that particular group. Let's see if if we come back here, if he's still going to have access to this particular role. So I'll go back there. I'll click on this here. Remember that I still haven't signed in. I'll click on this Bob here. Sorry. Let me go back to the group. Yes, Teams group. So here I'll click on this. Now, if I say remove, now this user has been removed from this environment. If I refresh, it's not there. See, it's no longer part of what the members of this particular group. Now, if I go back here now, this is Bob. He still has it. If I click on this refresh here, you can see that that particular role is no longer there for him. Why? Because it's no longer what part of that group. Can you see that? So if he tries to now log in, but because there's a section running, if I go back to this one here, remember that there's a section running. If I refresh, it might probably not sign him out because he's still cached to this. Or let me see. Yes, it's still going to be up there. But if I sign him out, you come up here and say sign out, and you want to sign it again, he might not probably have, he will not definitely have access to that particular Teams environment because of what the role is no longer assigned to him again. So this is how, okay, let me try and log in again. Let me see. Put in the password. Sign in. Okay, I think he's still caching that particular session. So if I close the browser and then open it back again, he will definitely not have access to that again. Why? Because the role is no longer assigned to him. He is no longer in that group again. Okay, so this is all I have for today. Thank you for taking your time to watch.
Yeah.
Good job.
Stephen, he just knocked himself off. So he should probably log back in again. So Dan, you have a PowerPoint for us?
Yeah. So welcome everyone. I really liked how Stephen shared the aka.ms links for the shortcuts to the admin centers, because some of them are easy to remember and some of them are much more difficult to memorize than others. Like Teams for me is pretty easy because I use it all the time, but I always have to think about, what's the intra portal or what's the compliance portal, and some of them are changing. So the aka.ms links are nice because those will maintain even when the portals change over time. Microsoft has also talked about a new top level domain for Microsoft 365. And so we've seen Teams start to function under cloud.microsoft, and several of the Viva applications now function under that namespace. So we may see more of that in the future. And what I had today was a project that I was going to work on, which was creating a PowerPoint with a bunch of slides that are numbered so we could use it as a countdown for the Azure and AI show. So if we wanted to maybe put up a PowerPoint 5 minutes before the show, or 1 minute before the show with a countdown to when we're going live, that's what I originally thought of. And Copilot was not being very helpful in doing that, or was getting confused about how I was asking for that. So I tried to think of as many different ways as I could request, like 60 slides, counting down from 60 to 1, or different things that I could do. And what I ended up doing was coming up with the top 10 reasons to tune in and join the Azure and AI show and the Microsoft Speakers Hub community. And so in the same way that a countdown would allow us to put something up before the show, my thought was maybe this becomes that, 10 minutes before the show, we can advertise what the Azure and AI show is, what the community is, how the Microsoft Speakers Hub and our newsletter and other things all fit together. And so Copilot was kind enough to come up with a presentation overview explaining that this is going to share the top 10 reasons to tune in. It set up a introduction hosted by industry experts that explores the latest developments in cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. And then from my perspective, one of the real secret sauces to creating your slides or your templates for your slides in Copilot is that I get speaker notes as well. So those speaker notes may or may not be perfect, but having speaker notes is better for a speaker than having nothing in that field. So our very first, if we go into PowerPoint presentation mode, was expert insights. And this points out that we have industry experts and that we stay up to date on industry trends, developments, and within our field. Number 2 is probably my favorite thing about the Azure and AI show, and that is that normally we are actually doing demonstrations, not just showing you slides. So in both Stephen's demo and Joseph's demo, we didn't just see a bunch of slides with information, we saw live demonstrations. And reason number 3 is the live demonstration that I'm going to show you. The way this slide originally looked was several white male variety of guests. And from my perspective, that doesn't really demonstrate what I wanted this slide to convey. And that is different people from around the world that look different and that are different from each other. So what I used instead of the default for this slide was I deleted the slide image that it came with. And I went into PowerPoint. I'm using my Mac version here. And under the insert ribbon at the top, I am able to go to icons. And besides the stock images, one of the options in icons is cutout people. And so I have a number of different cutouts that I can choose from. And then I can move these cutouts around. And I can decide what cutouts are in front of others and which cutouts are behind others with PowerPoint. So I can move this person to the front and this person holding the sign a little lower, and really decide how I want this slide to work. If I don't want her arm covering the slide, I can move this to the back, and or I can move this to the front or forward, and you get the idea. So moving all the way to the front moves the slide to the very front and would cover up both her arm and his arm writing on the slide. And under the draw menu, I could actually use this to write in. Maybe he's starting to write the Azure and AI show. And maybe on this one, we have the time for the show or something else written on the other picture. So when Copilot doesn't do something that you're happy with, either with the words that it chooses for diverse backgrounds and explaining what that might look like or what that might mean to Copilot, I can always come in here and change the wording or the slides that have been used by Copilot. So I'm not just stuck with the slides it creates. I can create other slides. I can use Copilot to suggest other types of slides. If I close these windows over here and then click on Copilot, this is where I could say, summarize a presentation, organize a presentation, or create a presentation from a file. Reason number 4 was interactive format. So in the same way that we are able to have guests on and interact with each other, one other thing that using StreamYard provides us is the ability to interact with our audience. So as opposed to this being something that we have to invite people to, and we have a limit typically of 10 participants because of our licensing with StreamYard, one of the things we could do is actually from any of the LinkedIn, the YouTube, Facebook, X, whatever platforms we are broadcasting to, StreamYard collects all of the activity, and we can show the worldwide worldview entertainment. I'm always learning here. Or Frank, I actually was the one to type in your messages that went out on your YouTube. But because we're connected using some of your accounts, some of my accounts, and others, the choice of what account it shows when I type in a message to post from StreamYard, I guess just picks a default for that. So Joseph shared something on YouTube, and that was a link to the intra-identity authentication concept password page. So the interaction not only is something that we can share with each other as guests on the show, but it's also a way that we can bring in comments from our audience real time. I would also agree that we have very timely topics in AI, whether that be Copilot, ChatGTP. We've looked at HeyGen. We've looked at the AI glasses from Ray-Ban and Meta. My glasses have stopped functioning except for the video and the photos. So I need to pop out my prescription lenses. I need to return the glasses, and then I need to wait to get the glasses back to pop in my prescription lenses. So during that time, I'll have to decide if I just want to buy another pair of the glasses and then pop out the non-prescription lenses and pop in the ones that I have, or if I want to wait for my glasses to get back. So I'm wearing not smart AI glasses today because I've popped out one of the lenses and I need to get the other lens popped out and then return them. But we've looked at very timely topics from cloud computing as well as the AI side of things. And then this is also a networking opportunity. So many of us are on our journeys to the cloud. That's where we came up with the name for the first show that is monthly, Journey to the Cloud. And the Azure and AI Show was an opportunity to put a little more, topic-centric or Microsoft-centric around at least the Azure side. And then AI still being very generic in not saying Microsoft Copilot or a specific type of artificial intelligence, but obviously Microsoft has Copilot running in all sorts of different ways within their ecosystem. And then hopefully every week that you attend the Azure and AI Show, you're learning something new. Hopefully in most weeks, you're also learning something new from new people as well. So Frank, I know one of the things I've highlighted in the past is the amount of people that we have had as guests on the Azure and AI Show. And then prior to that, the Journey to the Cloud series that we used to do every other week. Didn't really have a cadence in 2013 or 2023. We came up with the idea of doing that show monthly. So instead of just whenever we were all available and felt like going live, we went live. We came up with a cadence. And then with this in 2023, we also came up with a weekly cadence for the Azure and AI Show. So not only are you learning something new, hopefully on a weekly basis, but on most weeks you're meeting people that are new just by participating. And then reason number 8 was free and accessible. This is a community that we have built, and Frank, Solomon, myself, Matthew, Brown came together. And one of the things that we always wanted was a free and accessible show and platform. However, we also wanted that to be a diverse platform. So this week we have diversity both in location as well as in other aspects. And on some weeks we have diversity in both having male and female presenters and guests. And obviously we've always had, we really founded this on the principle of bringing people together around the world. We realized pretty early that the time that we choose, whether it's evening in the UK and Ireland, whether it's the morning in the US, we're probably putting somebody else in a time that may not be convenient for them. So the other thing is these episodes go out live on Saturday afternoon in the North America or the Americas time zone. And then in the European time zone, it's evening. But the benefit is this episode is recorded and available to you whenever you would like to consume it. So it's not necessary that you be here in person to actually see the episode. You can watch it later. And then reason number 10, fun and engaging. These are all slides that Copilot came up with and graphics that Copilot came up with for me. So if I wanted to add something else about, fun and engaging, maybe, put learning back into this or other points for these 10 reasons, I have the ability to change the graphic. I have the ability to summarize this presentation, maybe put the 10 points into a single slide that just has the 10 reasons. But then Copilot also came up with additional slides because I asked it to highlight the community, learning, and impact. Many of us in this community have either become MVPs as part of our participation, or we were already MVPs. So when Matthew introduced me to Frank, both Matthew and Frank had been nominated as MVPs, but neither of them were Microsoft Most Valuable Professionals. Part of your journey to applying for the Microsoft Most Valuable Professional Award, and it's an award, not an achievement, is defining and providing Microsoft details of your impact to the community that you are doing for free in almost every category. The exceptions are things like books, and there might be other exceptions of things that you might be getting paid for. But typically these are impacts in free community events. Some of the exceptions are if you run a community event and you ask for a small monetary donation, which helps with attendance. People that pay, even if it's $5 or $10, are much more likely to attend an event than if they just register for free. So some of the community days work that people have done in the community allow you to still define that impact, even if you gather a small amount from people that sign up. Obviously, with this being online, we don't have to worry about how many people show up, when they show up, but we can still define our impact. And one thing that Frank and I have discussed is by doing this on multiple people's channels, as opposed to only on Frank's LinkedIn or only on the Microsoft Speaker Hub LinkedIn, we have the impact of my followers finding this, Joseph's, Stephen's, and Frank's followers because we can go live on all of our platforms instead of just one or a couple. From a community perspective, I'm a little happier with this image that Copilot chose, because it shows diversity in the community with 3 females, 3 males, and obviously different skin tones as well. So whether that's the avatars in Microsoft Teams, whether that's the pictures that it chooses as part of Copilot, if you're not happy with the photo, maybe I'm not happy with the diversity shown here, I can always either ask Copilot to do it again, or I can go to stock images or cut out people or other types of choices within the PowerPoint app. I could even go over and use something like Microsoft Designer. So if I'm not happy with the diversity shown, I could say, show a group of people that have a variety of skin tones and other diverse features. And then we can see what it can do with a image of that. Generate. And then I can also, here in the images, I can choose the size of the image. So am I looking for a square for maybe a slide? Am I looking for a portrait mode? Maybe for something like Instagram posts. And then here's what it's done to give me diversity within my audience. So here we have somebody with a tattoo. So if I wanted more diversity in maybe people with tattoos and people without tattoos, if I ask for that specifically, I'm much more likely to get that type of diversity. And if I'm happy with this, I can download this image. And then I can use this within my presentation. I can copy the image, and that puts it into my ability to use it in PowerPoint. So now I could do a paste, bring in that image, and decide where to use it. And then our final slides, learning, our impact. And I like the graphic it used here. And I believe those slides, those 18 slides, are the slides that, it might have been 17 because I think we added one slide here. But we had 17 slides that it came up with for us to use originally. And with that, we've taken a look at some of the things we could do with Copilot. The Microsoft Designer integration isn't there just yet directly. They are piloting this in Copilot Pro. So the personal version of Copilot for PowerPoint has the ability to create designer images for you within PowerPoint. Right now, you'd have to create it in Designer and then pull it into PowerPoint, which I just demonstrated. And with that, I believe I'm finished as well, folks.
Okay, Dan, that was great. A mixture of slides and demos, and yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
that was very informative. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we had a great mixture of stuff this week. It was very good.
Yeah, a little Azure, a little AI,
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
Microsoft 365 groups. This was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good. So we're kind of just gone over the hour. So thanks everybody for coming to the Azure and AI show, and we'll be back here again at the same time next week. Dan will be hosting the next 2 weeks, so come along and join us. And thank you.
Thanks,
Okay,
everybody.
everyone.